to the Grueling Truth Boxing Legends Show, brought to you by Replenishing Care Technologies, Gridiron Mow, and Power Plus Mouthguards. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now I want to welcome in my co-host, Jeremiah Preisser.
Good evening, everyone. Excited to be on. Always excited to be on. Let's talk some boxing, Mike.
All right, so instead of our normal Inside Boxing Weekly show, which you can hear on thegruelingtruth.net from this past week, tonight we're doing the Boxing Legends, and our guest is former WBC light heavyweight champion Montell Griffin. How you doing, Montell?
I'm doing fine, man. Thanks for having me, and it's a beautiful thing.
All right, let's just start off. This is a question that, Jeremiah knows that I'm always asking because Roy Jones gets on my nerves sometimes. But I got to ask this. Since it's, how do you feel about Roy Jones Jr. constantly bringing up his DQ loss to you whenever he sees someone else get bowed? For instance, the Golovkin-Lemieux bout or almost any bout you see on HBO.
Well, like they say, negative press is good press. Roy, I mean something to Roy Jones. He got disqualified during our fight in '97 because I was getting with him, and it bothers him. So, if they want to make a big deal about it or say anything, it means something to me. Just let me know that I'm on his mind.
Well, it must be nice leaving a lasting impression on a guy like Roy Jones Jr. But, obviously the foul was out of frustration because, you're using your boxing IQ and, you were showing your craftiness. What do you remember of the fight itself?
As far as, I think it was either March 13th or 17th, '97. Roy Jones, pound for pound, was the greatest fight out. I went in there. Eddie Fuss gave me a great game plan, and I followed it out, and he was frustrated. Right now, officially, he was up on one scorecard by 2 points, one scorecard by 1 point, and I was up on one scorecard. So if he didn't get, he got a bogus knockdown early in the fight, he didn't knock me down. I slipped, and he got credited with knockdown. That wasn't official. So basically, I should have been winning the fight. But it is what it is. Everybody loved Roy Jones. People hated me because he fouled me, and that's crazy.
Right, and his
because he was frustrated.
Yeah, and his excuse was he didn't see you down. That was a clear punch after you were down. I don't know what he was seeing there.
Well, what happened was I messed up. He threw a right hand. Instead of me blocking it, I tried to roll with it. He hit me in the back of the head. I was a little dizzy, and I told myself, Montell, you win in this fight, take a knee, and let's win the last 3 rounds. I took a knee. Yeah. I looked up to the referee, and he hit me. And then he loaded up on the second shot. So it was crazy, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and you talked about Roy. He was considered the greatest fighter pound for pound then. What was it like being in with Roy, and what made Roy, Roy?
For him to be the greatest pound for pound fighter in the world, and some people say he's one of the greatest fighters ever, it really wasn't that hard. He was fast. He was like the fastest man I've ever been in the ring with, but as far as everything else, it wasn't a big deal.
Right, and didn't you say that, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I read somewhere that you had actually sparred with Floyd Mayweather Jr., but Roy Jones Jr. was clearly faster than him.
Yeah, I fought Roy in '97. I sparred Floyd maybe 2000, 2001 at 140. He was like 140. I was like 180. We sparred one day, and right now, Floyd has one of the greatest resumes in the last 30, 40 years, but Roy was faster than him. It is what it is. Roy was a special fighter. I tell everybody that he was the second most gifted fighter in history. I said Cassius Clay was number 1, and Roy was number 2.
Right, and speaking of, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, I just kind of want to go back to the beginning, how did you become a boxer? And I've heard that you knew Muhammad Ali quite well.
Well, what happened was my father brought my brother in the gym. He took my brother to the gym to learn self-defense. He my brother learned self-defense, and my father fell in love with the game, and he bought the gym from the legendary Johnny Coulon, who was a world champion from Chicago, bantamweight. He bought the gym. And 2 years old, I was in the gym on the regular. Muhammad Ali, the gym was on 5311 West 63rd Street, Philadelphia University, which is like 10 minutes from Hyde Park. It was one of the best neighborhoods in Chicago where Muhammad Ali lived. And so when Muhammad Ali was in town, he would come to my father's gym to train. And they, end up becoming friends, and that's how I got in tune with Muhammad Ali.
All right, now people don't really talk about your amateur career much, but you made the 1992 Olympic team. Go over that a little bit and tell us what the Olympic experience was like for you.
Well, the crazy part about it, my father died in '83. I was 12 years old going on 13, and my mother made me quit boxing. So I stopped boxing in '83. I came back in '91, 8 years later, and I made the Olympic team with 30 amateur fights. It was a great experience. I remember watching Sugar Ray Leonard win the gold medal in '76 with my father. So my goal was to win the gold medal for my father. And I made the team with 30 amateur fights. And I went to Barcelona. I got robbed. I got torched in my eye. I cut his eye open. I was beating him to the punch. I cut his eye open. And, it's something that I got to live with for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you fought somebody like John Ruiz in the amateurs, wasn't that correct?
I fought John Ruiz. I fought Terry McGroom. I fought Jeremy Williams. All three of them was ranked number 1 in the nation in light heavyweight. And
right.
So I got a chance. I beat all of them, and I went over to Barcelona, and I still got robbed with a gold medal.
Right. Okay, and so, you spoke about Eddie Futch as well, and of course he's a revered trainer in boxing circles. One of the best to ever do it. How did you two meet, and can you describe, what kind of man Eddie Futch was?
Well, my manager, John Kayworth, I moved back to Chicago after the Olympics. John Kayworth wanted to sign me, and he said, what can I do to make you stay in Chicago? I said, well, I'm from Chicago. I want to represent Chicago, but I want to stay and just have all my fights in Chicago. And I need a great trainer. And John Kayworth picked out. It was funny because he called him Eddie Futch. He said, I got Eddie Futch. I said, you mean Eddie Futch? He said, yeah. And Eddie Futch stepped in. My manager, John Kayworth, called me one day, said, look, pack your bags up. We going to meet Eddie Futch. Riddick Bowe was in training camp to fight Jesse Ferguson. We were training in Washington, D.C., and I walked in the gym, and Eddie Futch said, look, I heard you want me to train you. I got a test for you. You're going to spar Mike McCallum. He said, depending on what you do, we'll train you. I said, okay. I got in the ring with Mike McCallum and pretty much did my thing. It was one-sided. I outboxed him easily, and it was a great day. I walked out the ring. Eddie Futch walked up to me and shook my hand and said, welcome to the team. I walked back to the dressing room. Mike McCallum said, Shorty, and he called me, that was his nickname, so he called me Shorty. He said, Shorty, you got me today, but I'll get you back. But he never got me back. Every time we sparred, I had a good day against him, and It is what it is, because he's a Hall of Famer. So that made me feel good about myself.
Yeah, in your pro career, you moved along quickly. 15th fight, you were taking on a legend like James Toney. I'm a big fan of technical fights like that. Tony McCollum being another one of that era. Was there a harder, slicker man than James Toney to fight?
But the whole thing about James Toney was, in 1992, when I got back to Barcelona, Jackie Callan called me and said that she wanted to manage me. She said, I want to manage you. I think you're a good fighter. She said, me and James are going to co-manage you. Come on to our gym. And me and James sparred. We sparred in 92. And I'm not going to say I had the best of them, but I did good enough where I felt confident enough where I knew, when I sparred James Toney, I knew I was the real deal. I sparred him as an amateur. And actually, things didn't work out. And they didn't offer me what I want. I said, just send me back home. This was 1992. 3 years later, I was offered a fight with James Toney for 14 amateur fights. This was my 15th fight. And my manager said, can you beat him? I said, yeah, I can beat him. And we took the fight.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Not many guys take that sort of challenge in only their 15th fight. Even guys with even Americans with extensive amateur careers like Oscar De La Hoya, et cetera, they usually don't take it. But do you remember the second fight as well? Was the second fight a little bit harder, or did you feel it was a little bit easy?
No, it was actually easy. I mean, we fought the first fight, I think, in January or February of 95. We fought the second fight in like December of 96. So basically it was like 2 years. So after the first fight, I think we both had 10 or 11 fights apiece. And I got a phone call to fight him. And I said, hell yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I knew I was a much better fighter. And I had much more experience. So I took the fight, and I beat him easy. The first fight was close. I just think it had nothing to do with skills. I'm not going to say I was better than him, but I worked him. The second fight, I felt that I was better than him, and I beat him. Unanimous decision, and I did what I had to do to beat him. When he was my idol. He was my favorite fighter, and I got a chance to fight my favorite fighter, and I beat him.
Yeah, that's not a bad gig. I mean, you fought a ton of damn good fighters. Do you remember Darius Michalczewski at all? Do you recall anything of that fight?
Of course. I went over there. I won every round. I was dominating them, and Joe Cortez, my American referee, stopped the fight and said I was taking too much punishment. I said, Joe, you got to be joking. I never was knocked down. I never was hurt. Joe Cortez is a dirty referee. He stopped the fight for no reason.
So you think it was about a corruption?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, without a doubt.
All right, let me ask you this. I mean, a lot of people talked about what would have happened if Michalczewski would have fought Roy Jones Jr. I'm sure you have an opinion on that.
After fighting both of them, I had to go with Roy, without a doubt. Michalczewski was ordinary. He was nothing special about him. I played with him the first 3 rounds. Joe Cortez stopped the fight for no reason. If they would have fought back in those days, I had Roy easy.
And did
all right,
you?
So you kept fighting quality guys for years after that. Guys like Tarver, Hoy.
I mean, first of all, I fought everybody. I never dodged nobody. I fought everybody. I think I had 8 losses in my career, which I don't agree with. I got robbed a lot of fights, but I think 5 guys in my career, I fought them in their hometown. 5 of my losses was the guys' hometown. So, you know what I'm saying? I know I don't deserve to have 8 losses.
Right, Jeremiah?
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I guess he answered the... But anyways, so was it one of those things where you had to get to win number 50 before you called it quits?
Well, actually, because of the game was so long and up and down, and I dealt with a lot of negative stuff, I was ready to walk away. And a lot of my friends were like, Montell, you got 49 wins. You might as well get 50. It was nothing that I even thought about. So that's why I got back. I got my 50th win.
All right, so what have you been up to since you've retired?
I actually became a Cook County Sheriff in Chicago, which, you know, it is what it is. And I'm in the gym. I'm training fighters every day. And I'm ready to be. I want to leave my career as a good fighter who did pretty good. And now I want to be a great trainer.
So a sheriff in Chicago, that sounds like a tough gig.
Anything in Chicago is tough. Anytime you're in a big city, it's tough. Whatever you do, you're dealing with a lot. I mean, you know, it's politicking, it's favoritism, it's all type of things.
It's kind of like boxing, right?
Yeah, but Chicago never gave me the love I felt I deserved. For everything I did, I made Olympic team with 30 amateur fights. I fought James Toney with 14 fights. I rematched him. I beat the great Roy Jones. I made him so frustrated that he fouled and, you know, got disqualified. So, and I fought everybody. I never dodged nobody. And, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Now, when you look back at your career, is there anything you would change?
It's a lot of things, but, you know, it is what it is. Ain't nothing I can do about it. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of bad breaks. The things didn't go my way, but who am I? Starting off with trying to make the Olympic team. I got robbed against Jeremy Williams. I beat him. I got robbed. I was just fortunate enough to have a lawyer that got me back in the box office. And I just put it like this. More bad things happening. I had more bad breaks in my career than good breaks.
Yeah, and unfortunately, boxing has always been a sport saturated with corruption. But I know you follow boxing currently. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you do some stuff with Frank Hulotero at the Sweet Science. I was wondering what you think of the light heavyweight division today.
I respect Andre Ward moving up. I respect the fight with him and Kovalev. I thought Kovalev won the first fight. And then the second fight was even more crazier. And you got Superman, you got Better BF. The light heavyweight division is in hand. So I want to see what's going to happen in the next year or two.
So where would you compare a guy like Andre Ward? Is he in the same stratosphere as Roy Jones to you, or?
No disrespect to Andre Ward, but Roy Jones' speed. Andre Ward is a great fighter. I mean, sometimes some guys are more fortunate. Andre Ward won the gold medal light heavyweight and moved down to 160. So just let you know, he just fought opposition that really wasn't that good. I'm not trying to knock him. I'm not trying to be a hater. I respect him, but he's been fortunate over his career. I don't think he beat Kovalev the first fight. The second fight was very controversial. But, you know, who am I? So, but if you ask me to compare Andre Ward and Roy Jones at 175, I got to go with Roy Jones.
So you think Ward would probably take a few losses if he was fighting in your era, huh? He probably doesn't beat James Toney, doesn't beat Roy Jones Jr. I'm sure you don't
see it.
Right.
I don't see
it. Right, I agree.
All right, so what's your take on some of the bigger fights coming up, like Triple G against Canelo?
Triple G and Canelo is a fight that we all been waiting to see. I'm not going to lie. My heart is with Canelo. I think he's one of the, besides Orlando Canizales, I think Saul Canelo Alvarez is the slickest Mexican I've ever seen. You know, most Mexicans want to fight and rumble or, you know, put on a good show. But Canelo uses his head and put combinations together. And Triple G, who looks a lot bigger than him when they stand next to each other. So it's going to be a great fight. I think Triple G is kind of on his way down. I don't think he's at the top as he, you know what I'm saying, as he was. I thought Danny Jacobs beat him, and he get hits a lot. I think if Canelo boxes and uses his head, I think he'll beat him. But boxing is a great hand. You got Terrence Crawford. You got 147.
Well, you got a lot of guys at 147.
140, 147, 154, 160. Everything is beautiful. We got the Charlo brother, one of them at 160, one of them at 154. Man, amateur boxing, professional boxing is in a great spot right now. We got heavyweights. Boxing right now, besides the one thing that leaves a black eye, like everybody felt that Pacquiao won the other day. And, boxing is politics. It's more like a business than it is a show. But you got to sit back and watch, man. I'm looking forward to a lot of fights.
Yeah, and real quickly, just on the Golovkin-Alvarez thing, do you think Golovkin can earn a decision win against Canelo?
They fight in Vegas, right?
Right.
September 16th. I'm gonna break it down for you. Over the years, we all been in a situation where American fighters had to go overseas, and if you didn't knock out the guy, you wasn't winning. So now I guess it's in America now. I mean, Kovalev was set to fight with Andre Ward, and accepted with 3 American judges, and I thought he won the first fight, but because I guess America is finally getting their payback. So, as far as Triple G and Canelo, if Canelo does what I think he's supposed to do, I think he's gonna win. As long as he don't get knocked out, he's gonna win.
Yeah, and you talked about the corruption, the judges, you going over to Europe. I know Glenn Johnson got screwed over there a lot about the same time you did. What do you think can be done, or can anything be done about the judges?
Until the government take over the game.
Yeah, but wait a second. The government screws everything up. So how's that much different?
Okay. Let me break it down for you. Okay. National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, NBA, and football all has a commissioner and has one guy that's in control. As long as boxing has 4 or 5 different promoters in control, it'll never be right.
Yeah, but how do you get those promoters to let one of them be in charge or to elect somebody?
The government has to take over and break it down and go to commission in, take over the sport, and we got to get clean judges. That's just like, I'm going to give you an example. I was in Toledo, Ohio last week. Robert Easter fought for his world title.
Yeah.
On one judge scorecard, he won 120-108.
That's 2 judges' scorecards had it that way.
It was right. Two judges' scorecards. Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles know that he didn't win that fight 120-108. No. So we got to take over and do something to get it straightened out.
The problem with Ohio is their boxing commission's tied in with the wrestling commission. There's no real boxing commission in the state of Ohio.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So when you got a judge that scored a fight 120-108 that you know is closer than that, then you got to get rid of him. You can't give him a fine or a suspension or just get rid of him. You know that fight won. There's no way in hell Robert Easter won that fight. He won every round of that fight. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to say he didn't win, but I'm saying he did not win.
It was a close fight that could have went either way. It shouldn't be 120.
Right, that's all I'm saying. So basically, you're gonna have to start paying attention and seeing these judges' scorecards and have some to make sure it's fair. We've seen too many fights. Like everybody say, another black eye for boxing. So we see a decision that didn't go like it should have. So What do we need to do to get it right?
Well,
I don't know a fighter that didn't get robbed in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens far too much. But even on the undercard of that fight, the Ivan Galoob fight versus Jamon Terry Clark, I believe, that was a robbery as well. I think they had two judges scoring.
I thought, man, that was a hell of a fight. That kid, the white kid, came and put on the show. He showed me. I got so much respect for that kid. He got hit on the chin with a clean shot. He never faltered. He came back, and I, you know what I'm saying? I thought he won. So
I did too. Yeah, I had him winning too. So a quick question. I know that maybe you're not a fan of Donald Trump. That's not really relevant here. But Donald Trump has been a boxing fan for many, many years. Do you think maybe he could do it?
I really don't know. I mean, a lot of blacks. It's a lot of people in America that say that Donald Trump is the wrong answer, but the thing about Donald Trump is Donald Trump was around 20 years ago, putting on fights in Atlantic City, working with blacks.
Tyson Spinks.
And Donald Trump, when I fought Roy Jones, Donald Trump came in my dressing room and shook my hand and said congratulations. So I don't have nothing bad to say about him, but I don't know. I've been reading a lot of black entrepreneurs saying that Donald Trump, why would you change up on him? Like you was different 20 years ago. Why would you change? So I don't know if he's racist or not. But man, I just want, man, we're in America, man, the greatest country in the world. Let's make the best of this, man. Let's stop the racism. Let everybody have equal rights, and let's put it together, man. I think it can be done, man. I don't think no race is better than no other race, and because I've been in sports my whole life, I don't see color. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong in every race. It's wrong black guys, wrong white guys, wrong Asian guys, Mexican guys. Let's get on the same page and put it together and make the best of the situation.
All right, Jeremiah, any final questions for Montell?
Nope, no final questions. I just want to thank him for being on the show and being a great guest.
Yeah, do you want to plug anything? Any social media where people can follow you or anything?
I mean, I'm on Facebook, on the Montell Griffin. I'm on Twitter. I'm on everything. Social media, whatever. Just get in touch with me any way you can. I answer any question you want. If you see me in person, come up and talk to me. I'll talk to you. I'm a easy living guy. I hope the best for everybody, and let's enjoy life. Life is too short. Let's enjoy life.
Sounds good, Montell. It was an honor to have you on the show today.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And we'd love to have you back on. We got a bunch of big fights coming up. Maybe we can have you on our weekly show to break down the fights a little bit.
Well, you got my number. Give me a call, and let's put it together.
All right. Sounds good, Montell. Thanks a lot.
All right. Much respect.
All right, guys. Remember, you can follow The Grueling Truth at thegruelingtruth.net. Our sponsors are Replenishing Care Technologies, Inc.com, GridironMode.com, PowerPlusMouthguards.com. Jeremiah, any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? Actually, it was just good to have a guy like that, because how often do we talk about guys that, just don't fight as much as they should or against the best like they should? Montell Griffin is not that kind of fighter. This is a man who fought tough opposition from, his 14th, 15th fight on. I mean, he fought numerous...
Shumenov at the end of his career.
Exactly, yeah. I think that was his second to last fight, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a guy who's been fighting the best of the best or ranked opponents for many, many years. He's handled himself well, and it was just nice to have him on.
All right. Also want to remind people you can check out the Ringside Boxing Show with Dennis Taylor and John Raspani. They were the writers of Intimate Warfare, The Tale of Gotti and Ward. Great book. You can find it on Amazon. They do a great job. I think this week they've got a guy we've had on in the past, Livingstone Bramble, is going to be their guest on Sunday night. Also, you can check out their interviews. They had a show with Chuck Wepner and Liv Schreiber, who played Chuck Wepner in the movie Chuck. Also, they had a great interview with Angelo Dundee. They did in 2011, a few months before Angelo passed away. So make sure you check out the Ringside Boxing Show. We got a new writer. I'll let Jeremiah tell you about Christopher Shelton.
Yeah, so Christopher Shelton is a guy we're importing from like a number of other guys from John Responsi and Dennis Taylor, guys that they know, but he's going to focus on the historical stuff. And by historical, I mean old. This is a man who focuses on guys like Bob Fitzsimmons, one of the the first 3-division champion ever, and stuff like that. Everybody just check it out if you're into the historical stuff and you like a guy who goes to the sources. Because we know there are a lot of guys who do not. There's a lot of bad historical work going on, but this is a guy who gets, to the nitty-gritty, cuts through the nonsense. So check his stuff out.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, Christopher Benedict wrote another one of his outstanding articles, wrote it about Marvin Hagler, Caveman Lee fight. A lot of information there that people may not know. Very interesting story. Everything he writes is top-notch. I want to remind everybody you can hear all the Grueling Truth shows on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes. Anywhere you find sports podcasts, you'll find the Grueling Truth. So for Montell Griffin, Jeremiah Preisser, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.